Hello, QPR fans, players, TV, home and away. Deejay Ranger back in the house once again with another exclusive QPR ex-player interview. This time it's with the one, the only Mr. Paul Murray. How you doing, sir?
I'm all right, and thanks for having me on the show to all the QPR fans, players, TV, home and away.
No worries, mate. No problem. Great to see you. Obviously, how you been finding it through these pandemic times, mate? Also, I see you're still involved in the game with your jacket and stuff. What you been up to since finishing playing football, obviously, or are you still getting involved with playing side stuff, or is it all coaching now?
Yeah, no, it is mostly coaching. You know, I obviously retired, and I've had a stint in first team management, assistant manager, first team coach, under 18s manager, under 23s manager, and now I've sort of done every job at first team level. I've managed to get into academy manager's job.
Okay.
So I'm up at Oldham, and it's definitely a learning part of my career, that's for sure. But no, it's really enjoyable.
Okay, that was what I was going to ask. Are you enjoying it? Seeing the difference, but
Sorry, my battery went off there. Sorry.
That's all right, mate. We'll carry on. Yeah, it's I was going to ask you, are you enjoying the difference between playing and actually now doing the coaching side of it? Hopefully,
I mean, I don't know any players that finish the career and not miss football. I miss playing for sure. It's what I did for nearly 20 years, and it's a massive part of my life, and I miss it. So to meet people who say they don't miss it, it's hard to believe, but some people do, some people don't, and I'm one of them ones that thoroughly misses it. But so I get my kick at the minute out of seeing the young players progress through to the first team.
Of course, yeah. I mean, that's great. I mean, obviously, you're still involved in the game that you love. As I say, it's in the blood. As as you said, it's very hard to find an ex-pro who doesn't want to still keep involved in the game. I mean, you look, some people don't bother. They just totally go off and do something different for what they've been doing most of their working lives or playing football careers. Yourself, you're still involved. You're still enjoying it, having the banter, I suppose, with the lads and stuff and what have not. And yeah, good to hear, mate. Good to hear. And are Oldham going to do anything this season, do you think?
Well, we're currently foot to the table, aren't we, at one point? So it's the only way is up, as I say.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Okay, just going to get on to the questions, but thanks for letting me know and us know about your present situation. Good luck with that anyway, Paul. Just a few questions really regarding your playing time at QPR, if that's all right.
Yeah.
The first one could be related, but it's not. It's just a football general question. When growing up as a boy, did you support any team or have a favourite player that you like watching to decide I want to become a pro footballer?
Well, probably my favourite player that I can remember was Kenny Dalglish, and I had these boots called Kenny Dalglish Silver, who I absolutely loved him. So he's one that I particularly remember. But because I was born in Carlisle, which is, whether you Southerners know, is only about 9 miles from the border.
Yeah.
So Gretna Green's on the border. Anyway, he used to have a marketplace, and they used to sell every shirt you can think of, all Southern teams. So I had a West Ham, the old kit with Airbeck on the front. So I used to have all them old kits. And funny enough, when I joined the youths, my dad had a picture of me in the old red and black kits. I don't know what year that was. So what did he have on the front? It was red and black kit, stripes across. The sponsor was
Guinness or something like that, maybe?
What was it?
Guinness? Was it Guinness?
No, it was just after that. But anyway, I got this picture taken. My dad took a picture.
Yeah.
So anyway, I had this old kit on, this old QPR kit. So when I got down, he sent this picture into the programme editors. And it's in one of the programmes saying Paul Murray was a QPR fan. So actually, my main player was Kenny Dalglish, but I like every team really. I wasn't really one team like a Man United or anything. I liked all teams. And we're living up at Carlisle. I like Carlisle.
Yeah, long way as well. Carlisle. I remember going there on the Tuesday night in the Cup watching us play Carlisle.
I know, yeah, I remember that.
Long way to go to watch a game. It was, I think we won the game 1-0. I think Les got a header, I could be wrong.
Right, Les got a header, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy, but yeah, at least we won anyway. Next question, but thanks for that, Paul. What year did you join QPR?
So I joined in the last Premier League season. So was that 95-96?
Yeah, I think, it was, yeah.
Yeah, so I joined in January originally on loan because I was injured. I had a thigh strain. And obviously, I think for both clubs, they wanted to tie the deal up. And I joined, didn't get fit till sort of March time, and then I was around the squad, and we actually, I remember the game significantly that year because Deej scored the free kick against Man U. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And then the bloody played 6-7 minutes extra time.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Cantona scored. Yeah, I think it was Cantona scored a very late goal. I don't know where the 7 minutes come from.
And then he went back to bloody for kick-off, and that was it. The whistle was gone. Yeah. And really, for me, that was a nail in the coffin for us.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, I think, yeah, you're right in what you're saying about the final nail in the coffin. I mean, even though, you know, we played great, I suppose, and you know, played well in games, but we just didn't have the rub of the green, I don't think. And that was one of them where I know it's Man United. I'm not saying we would have stayed up had we won that game, but you just don't know. You don't know.
No, for sure. And especially with the last minute.
Yeah, that's like heartbreak, isn't it, I suppose?
That was the season I joined, 95-96, and I made my debut when we were at Nottingham Forest.
Okay, that was leading on to my next. That was my next question. When did you make your debut? What team did you make your debut against for QPR? So obviously you just explained it there. Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, Nottingham Forest when they had some superstars in, didn't they? They had was Van Hooijdonk there? Was it Van Hooijdonk? Was it? No, I don't know what his name was.
Yeah, Pierre Van Hooijdonk. Yeah, he played for Forest. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they had. I had a good few players. Steve Storen that played for him, so it was a memorable time. But
yeah,
for me it was a bit sweet because we'd been relegated, so it was, you know, it was a bit of a tough time for me.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, for any player, I suppose being relegated is not great as such, but you know, you have to get on with it and roll your sleeves up and go again, like as a team, you know. And then obviously the individuals themselves decide, you know how they're going to operate that season or within the team itself. Okay, mate. Who did you score your first QPR goal against?
Oh, you know what? That was on Twitter the other day. And, you know, I don't really go on Twitter, but Simon Barker liked it. And
okay.
It was Swindon.
All right.
He crossed it, and it was knocked down on the edge of the box, and I sort of controlled it with my head and volleyed it in, and that was my first. Me and Trevor running off, celebrating. No doubt we celebrated in the evening as well.
Yeah.
So, no, it was, that was it, Swindon all.
Okay, cool, mate. Next question. What's the most memorable game you have played in whilst playing for QPR?
Well, there was quite a few, but I have to say that Port Vale game was just unbelievable. 4-0 down at half-time. They probably should have gone 5-0 up just after half-time, but they didn't give the goal, and then we scored 4. Andy Impey's volley. And then John Spencer, I scored a chip. There was an own goal, and then John Spencer last minute.
Yeah.
Score. I mean, what a comeback.
Oh, no.
What a bit of belief, it can do for you.
It was unbelievable, wasn't it?
It was memorable. I mean, we had some really good games, but that in particular was just something that I'll never forget. Funny enough, me and Andy Impey did a TV show with Sid Waddell about that game.
Okay, cool.
It was like a sports quiz game. That game. So
mental in the stand, mate. Absolute mental. It's mental.
Unbelievable.
I mean, you could put that. I could put that on par with when we played Newcastle at Loftus Road when we drew 5-5 in the end, and I'm sure we had 2 goals disallowed that day as well. But yeah, to come back, you think dead and buried is like you never know. But then you get one, you never just don't know, do you? I mean, but crazy. Yeah, crazy game. Next question. Obviously, when you played on away games at QPR, who did you room with on away days? Was it one in particular, or was it spread out?
My first room date was Ian Holloway.
All right.
So he was the first, and obviously he was a senior player, so he was all right. And then the next, we played Palace away one year, and I roomed with Alan McDonald.
Okay.
That, God rest his soul.
Yeah.
But Alan was. I didn't know that players still smoked, or whatever, because I'd come from Carlisle and a bit of an eye opener. But it was like 3 in the morning. I wake up, I can smell smoke. All I can see in the pitch black is the end of his fag when he's blowing it in, sucking it in, and I just see this red thing, and I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And I'm half asleep, and I go, what's going on? And Alan just says, I'm just having a ciggy. And I couldn't believe it. This was in the room, rooming with like a 19-year-old, but that's the way he was. So
yeah, I'm sure, Paul, there's many other players who had a smoke before games, or I'm sure there are other clubs as well. I mean, whether it's I mean, obviously, I'm sure it don't happen nowadays compared to years ago. But just going back to Alan McDonald, Paul, what was he like to room with him? I mean, not Alan McDonald, Ian Holloway, sorry.
Yeah, well, he was typical. Like, he was busy, buzzing around, didn't get to sleep till late, and let's watch the telly. And obviously, me being a quiet lad from Cumbria, it was just a bit. Everything was when I got down there, everything was a big change for me. I come from a little town.
I mean, he's a crazy.
And meeting people like him, he was just like he is on the pitch, just busy, lively.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I presume he like Gaza. Gaza was when he was in that World Cup squad running away. No, it was interesting, just different characters,
of course.
with different people. And then the third one I had was Trevor.
All right.
So he was a different kettle of fish as well.
Yeah. I mean, it must be great because having individual characters and learning their characteristics about them as well. You know what I mean? That's how your teammates. So you can build on that throughout. You get to know them a bit better, and then obviously in training you have the banter and stuff. So I suppose it helps with that as well. Okay, mate. Thank you for that. What's it like playing at Loftus Road in a full house, or in general?
Oh, brilliant! I mean, it's absolutely outstanding. It's people were saying they're going to move, and they probably still are looking to move to a fantastic new stadium. But that'll always be remembered for the way the stands are tiered and how close people are to the pitch.
Yeah,
and it's a great atmosphere. I had such a good affiliation with the fans there, and I totally loved it. Playing, scoring, being involved, and there's a real passion from the fans there.
Yeah,
like I say, if people have never witnessed it, then it's a shame that they haven't witnessed it in their career. Full house, Loftus Road.
I mean, even with not so if it's less capacity, obviously when the old Terracing was there and we were playing well, the team was winning games more regularly. Maybe you get a full house against someone like Chelsea or Tottenham or something like the bigger clubs. And we were doing well, you can't beat it. It's no different to playing at the bigger grounds because you're so close, and it's unique as well, isn't it? In the sense of we're so close.
Well, yeah, I think that's the word, unique. There's no other way. There's not anywhere else like it.
I mean, the only other ground I thought similar to ours was West Ham's old ground because they were quite close to the pitch as well, to a degree. On their side, sideline. But yeah, ours was very close, and hopefully, if we do move to a new ground, they'll try and keep the same.
For sure, take that into consideration.
Hopefully, yeah, because now most of these grounds now they're like soulless bowls, if they call them that as such.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, as you know yourself from watching games, going to games, it's like, all right, the crowd will sing, they'll chant for a little while. I mean, you're not that you're going to get chanting every minute of a 90-minute or plus minute game as such, and fans ain't going to really get behind the team if they're not doing so well, if they're down in the bottom, even though you should, because you've got to go with the good and the bad, as they say, kind of thing. But yeah, that doesn't help with these these new stadiums, how they've created them now in the sense of for atmospheric wise anyway. Okay, mate, thank you very much. With regards to teammates and stuff, when you're at QPR, do you keep in contact with any of them prior to social media coming on board? And now with obviously social media in place in a big way, I suppose it's a bit easier to keep in contact with ex-teammates, etc. and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, you know what it's like. You float around, you float away, people drift and people. But really, the regular ones, I've always spoke to Trevor. He's godfather to my daughter.
Yeah.
Trevor Sinclair. Then you've got Danny Maddox. Always speak to Danny. Top man. You know what I mean? He'll do anything for you. And Chris Plummer now and again I speak to Chris Q+A. They're really the main ones are Danny and probably Danny the most, and then Trevor now and again. And like I say, been very with Chris and both Chris's.
I mean, do you still have the banter with them and stuff? Do you ever meet up with them at all? And do you ever meet up with them at all or not? Or is it?
Well, I came down to the when I received that tie for the Legends, whatever it was. I think it was last year. So I met up with Danny then.
Okay.
And I had a good crack with him. So I'll try and meet up with Danny regularly. And Trevor lives not far from me.
Yeah,
so I see him at numerous games. So no, it's nice to keep in touch with them anyway. Because look, when you're telling a young footballer that, when you go into a changing room, not everyone's your friend, which they aren't. I mean, I've kept in touch with literally, you're asking me 4 people from the QPR days.
Yeah.
So not every one of them's your friend.
No, of course, exactly. It's your teammates. I mean, ideally, in an ideal situation, like even in my environment where I go to work, and even in living times as well, whether it's your neighbour or your work colleague. You want to try and get on with them as best as you can. Don't have to be best mates, because obviously you're going to spend you're going to spend a lot of time with them. So of course there's going to be disagreements and stuff throughout. I'm not saying that, you've done it with everybody, or I haven't done it with everyone, but there's going to be disagreements. So it's like, but if you keep in contact, great. It's and vice versa with them players too that you just mentioned, and others that you've got on well with, or better with, I should say, rather than But okay, mate, thank you for that. With another one regarding teammates, who had the worst dress sense whilst you were playing at QPR?
Ooh, the worst dress. Oh, I know who's got the worst dress sense. George Kulska. Remember him?
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
Maybe not many QPR fans. Actually, he scored a worldie, I think, against Palace. I think maybe at home or something like that.
Yeah.
But George's gear, it's awfully, because I think he was Australian, but mixed with somewhere in Europe. But he'd come in shorts with long socks on, flip flops, and his gear wasn't great. Rob Steiner was another. Remember Rob Steiner?
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah. Funny times, though.
So not great, yeah.
Okay, mate. Okay. Was there any jokers within the team, Paul?
Well, there was, and it was funny because I'm quite feisty, me. So when I first got there, I have to say I had a Timberland cap. It was cream leather, so you can imagine it probably was a fashion faux pas. But I went out to training one morning, and I came back in, and they drew a load of dicks on my hat. Right? So I took it off the peg. I went in, they were all having their dinner. This is the way I was. I think this is why I got friendly with some people. I just went, right, who's done this to my cap? By the way, if I find out, I'm going to top you. I don't care, give a shit who he is. This is when they were all there. Like, anyways, subsequently, I did find out that it was Dave Barnsley and Donald. But, I did find the funny side eventually, but I just paid like 40 quid for them.
Yeah, of course. At the time, it'd be like anyone else. If someone does something to you, like, cuts a tie or does something to your shirt or whatever, okay, there's banter. And then you can go, it depends how you rise to it, obviously. I mean, obviously being a bit upset, obviously, which is normal. But then I suppose you come round to it in the end, and I suppose you can either do one or two things: forget about it, or try and get revenge on them as such. Yeah. So, okay, mate, just a couple more questions, if that's all right. Obviously, home and away games when you're playing for QPR. Who chose the music for like going on the coaches to away games, or was it anyone in particular, or did you spread it out? If there was any music being played, and at home games as well.
If there was any music being played, it was probably Trevor and Danny.
Okay.
A bit of soul and stuff in there. So it was all right. But I think we had, looking back, we had just a mixture of everything. Mac would want one song on.
Yeah.
But generally, I think Trevor got most of the music to his own way. But we listened to everything really. That period when I was there, we had some really good lads.
Yeah. I mean,
in fact, we had really down to earth, great lads.
Yeah.
Played for the badge.
Of course, yeah. I remember the team.
Look, and I'm not saying with all the money in it, people don't do that anymore. But that particular group were really down to earth group, So everyone had a bit of a go with the music.
Okay, mate. But, well, didn't Danny DJ as well at some stage?
Danny?
Yeah.
Well, Danny did go, yeah. Obviously, I used to go clubbing with him and carry his records. It was the Q Club in Leicester Square.
Okay.
So I used to go down there with him quite often because obviously coming from Carlisle, we used to go out at 7 and be home by 1. Yeah. He said, I'll pick you up at Target roundabout at 12:30.
All right.
So that's a bit of a difference.
Well, yeah, of course.
Deej used to play some tunes, as well, but generally I would say it was probably Trevor that got hold of the box.
Okay, mate. And what would he play? Just mixture again, would he, Trevor?
Yeah, mixture, but generally a bit of soul, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, mate.
A bit of James Brown or something.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Okay, and just a final question from myself, Paul, to you. Can you give me and the QPR fans watching this vlog out there about the Q&A that when you play for QPR, your overall summary of the time spent at QPR, please?
Sum it up, yeah?
Yeah, if it's something your playing time for QPR and the club.
I had a fantastic time when I arrived. There was a few clubs sort of sniffing around, and waiting for other clubs to come in. But QPR decided to put the offer in. I said, right, that's it. They've showed me their card. I want to go.
Yeah.
And we sorted it out. And so, yeah, I made my way down on the train. And like I said, when I got there, everyone totally opened up to me with open arms. I mean, Ray was brilliant. Ray Wilkins was absolutely superb when I joined. He knew, coming from a small town, the lads were brilliant. Obviously, Trevor was a northerner, so there weren't many of us, but I had fantastic times playing. Don't get me wrong, I had a bad injury. I remember when I played in the B squad on the Tuesday and broke my leg at Norwich on the Saturday. But I still managed to play over 150 games, and a real good rapport with the fans. And thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a fantastic time, but it was made by the fantastic players, not ability-wise, about what the people were. You know, your Carl Reddy's,
yeah,
your Kelly Maddox, Travis Sinclair's, Andy Impey's, just great people.
As you said, Paul, earlier on in the interview, like, yeah, the great team spirit and great lads in the club, which helped as well.
So I've just got really good memories. And at a time when I joined, you had some good youth players coming through: Chris Plummer, John Chalice, Matt Brazier, who's unfortunately died.
Yeah.
So you had quite a few coming through the academy, and I just filtered in with them, and I just thought it was a brilliant family club. We used to go across the road from the ground in the estate at Christmas. We used to do loads of family stuff. It was brilliant, and it, a fantastic time in my career.
Okay, mate. Appreciate that. And that's from myself, being a QPR fan, and many others. Just want to say thanks for your time and effort for playing for the club, putting the effort in on the pitch as well for us. Thank you very much, Paul. That's it for myself, Deejay Ranger, and the one, the only Mr. Paul Murray, with a QPR Fans and Players TV exclusive ex-player interview for you, ladies and gents. Come on, you R'ss.